Okay, now we're discussing today the different challenges we have with the serve. Now, the ready position, the normal ready position is with the hand about waist high and the head of the racket maybe near your shoulder. So it starts typically about here. And you don't want a real McEnroe-ish or the racket down here. You don't want it way up here. You don't want it out to the side. You basically can start with the hands about waist high and comfortable. And that's the normal ready position people should start. It's important to have a good rhythm. So people do this. They bounce the ball 5-6 times to get their mental focus and their mindset to serve. Because it's the only shot in tennis where you have total control of how to start the point. So you really got to focus on, being deliberate. And you'll see most of the pros have a rhythm where they start so many bounces like this. Nadal has this thing where he'll pull his pants like this, and he gets his arm down like that. So those are personal characteristics to get your rhythm. Now, the second most common challenge we have is our feet. So we see people line up in a stance like this with their feet closed and they're serving over there, so they can't really get their weight towards the ball. Sometimes people line up with their front foot turned or sideways to the court. That sort of locks your left hip and you really can't get your weight into the ball. Okay? The simplest way is to have your feet in a line so that the racket can point right at the box you're serving to. And that way when you go to transfer weight, and this is basically a platform stance, okay, I can transfer weight directly into the square or into the court that I'm serving to. So that's a mistake people make. Their feet are positioned incorrectly so that the weight transfer is not as good. Okay? Now, next step, the common take-back problems. Sometimes people take the racket to the side. Sometimes people lift it up in the front. Sometimes they take it, they should take it down like this, past the toes, and then it travels up. And basically the palm of the hand or face of the racket should be closed like this on the take-up. And this helps facilitate the wrist snap or rotation of the racket head before contact. So the racket travels in this fashion and it just drops like a pendulum. And the arms travel down together, up together. So it sort of looks like this. And that's the rhythm that we have. Now from here, the next most common challenge is the racket doesn't do a loop or a circle behind the back. So it does this action. It should do this, where it bypasses both the left and right shoulder blade. It goes like this. See that circle? And that should be a continuous action because we don't want to decelerate the racket head, which causes the serve not to have the same level of power. You'll see people come up and they have a pause or a hitch. And again, their weight is in the front as opposed to the back. If I have to pause, I'm going to be here because I haven't hit the ball yet. Now what takes place is then the racket drops or bypasses left and right shoulder blade to strike the ball. But that timing characteristic takes away, again, power and rhythm. So that would be the next most common mistake on the serve. The next common boo-boo we see is the weight transfer, okay, as we go to strike the ball. So you can't have all your weight forward before you swing the racket. You got to have your weight going from back, this side, forward as you strike. And the finish is with the right shoulder pointing towards the court that you just served. And the follow through, the racket travels past your left hip like this. A lot of people, Andy Murray does this where he lets his left hand travel back as the right hand travels forward. And that's the follow through portion of the shot where the weight is transferred there. And I really think that's important that people have their weight back, okay, and then their weight goes forward. So you see this hip rotation in conjunction with the strike. So as I go to strike, my hips and shoulders come from back to front, and then the follow-through portion of the racket goes there, and the right leg can step or travel towards the court that you're serving to. So those would be my list, or my A list of mistakes that commonly come about on serving, and we're going to give you the corrective techniques and how to fix those and make it easy for you to understand and improve your serve.